Coming up on Duck TV Evening News, find out where you can express your free speech on campus.
Also, learn about the recent Title IX complaint filed by a former city council member.
Good evening and welcome to Duck TV Evening News. I'm Hannah Vetrano.
And I'm Rachel Ibanez. The University of Oregon will soon transition its governance from the Oregon University system to a board of trustees. The ASUO and a student vote helped put the change into motion. Reporter Lauren Schwartz brings us more about how the change could affect students.
The Oregon University system seeks to fund programs and set initiatives to improve higher education.
The University of Oregon receives about $90 million every 2 years, while Oregon State University receives about $150 million. On July 1st, the University of Oregon will function under the governance of a board of trustees. Because the university receives funding from private donors, the UO does not qualify for as much funding as some of the other Oregon University system schools.
So that means that this new board of trustees will basically be the overall governing body for the university. So they will have pretty broad powers that are outlined in that Senate bill as to what kind of decisions they can make on behalf of the university. And since it is just becoming effective on July 1st, the scope of the board and what exactly they'll be making their decisions based on are still kind of yet to be seen as we go through the development process.
Reasons for becoming independent include U of O's high student population and increased funding from private donors.
We wanted the people making the decisions to have the best interest of our university.
For Duck TV News, I'm Lauren Schwartz.
University officials say that financial aid and admissions will not be affected by this transition.
Now that the U of O is not part of the Oregon University system, the administration is updating the university's mission statement. A mission statement is a summary of all the value and goals of an organization. The Higher Education Coordinating Commission asked all universities in Oregon to review their current mission statements and revise accordingly.
I would personally like to see a document that is more focused, has a clearer, shorter statement of why we're really here.
The administration held meetings to get the student body and community active in this review process.
A really successful mission statement is something that every member of the community can see themselves in. You should read it and go, oh, I see what's my part in that. And it should be everybody.
The U of O Board of Trustees is scheduled to approve the new mission statement at its June 11th meeting. Former City Council member Kevin Hornbuckle has filed a Title IX complaint against the university after recent allegations regarding a sexual assault case. Title IX prohibits discrimination on the basis of gender in education programs and activities that receive federal financial assistance. Hornbuckle asserts that the administration caused a wave of public hostility against Brandon Austin, Damian Donson, and Dominique Artis, basketball players allegedly involved in the recent sexual assault case, and also male students in general. John Clune, an attorney who is consulting with the university, explains how the process for a Title IX complaint works.
Determine if they think there's a reasonable basis to open an investigation into the complaint, and then if they find that Title IX was violated in some fashion, then they try to work with the school to get some sort of cooperative resolution to improve the school's protocols and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Clune says it could take months to see any development from Hornbuckle's complaint.
Along with the Title IX complaint, the recent sexual assault allegations sparked many protests around campus. But are there any places at the U of O where free speech is prohibited? While the amphitheater is advertised as a designated free speech zone, all of campus is a place to speak freely, except for classrooms. The university supports free speech, but limits it when it begins to disrupt classes or work. Anyone can come to the University of Oregon and voice their opinion, no matter how controversial, since campus is a public space. Now we take it to Sarah Scrivens and Garrett Fabris for the update on Oregon sports.
Welcome into Duck TV Sports. I'm Sarah Scrivens.
And I'm Garrett Fabris. Eugene has been busy with a lot of great softball action this past weekend.
That's right. Oregon played host to the NCAA Regionals for the third year in a row. Here's a quick recap of the start of their run for the College World Series in Oklahoma City. The Ducks opened up the weekend with a game against the Utah Valley Wolverines. Oregon proved ready to roll early and poured on the runs for a packed Howfield crowd. The Ducks scored 8 runs in the first inning and then proceeded to extend the lead with a bases-clearing double by Nikki Udria in the second. The game ended in 5 innings because of a mercy rule, with a final score of 12-1. After the big win, Oregon was set to play the Wisconsin Badgers for the first time on Saturday. Alexa Peterson with the RBI single to score Janie Takeda. Sophomore Sheridan Hawkins for another strikeout. She had 11 total strikeouts in the game, her 11th double-digit strikeout of the season. Hawkins with the pitch. This one almost made its way out of the park, but a snag with Peterson spared the Ducks that homer. Oregon finished up Wisconsin 6-1. A rain delay set back the start to Sunday's final between Oregon and Wisconsin. Janie Takeda came out hot in the first with a homer to right center. Carissa Hovingay took the mound for Oregon and allowed no runs on 3 hits with 8 strikeouts and 1 walk. Another home run from Courtney Seo helped to top off the day. Final score, 6-0 Oregon. The Ducks put 8 players on the all-regional team, including the weekend MVP, Takeda. Excellent performance once again by the Ducks this weekend. What has this team been doing that sets them above their competition?
Well, it was a strong pitching performance by Sheridan Hawkins with only 2 hits and 1 run allowed in her game again on Saturday. The bats were hot for Oregon throughout the weekend. The offensive charge was led by Pac-12 batting champion Courtney Seo. The Ducks scored 12 runs off of 10 hits against Utah Valley on Friday. There in the semifinals, the Ducks scored 5 runs in the 6th inning to beat the Wisconsin Badgers.
Oregon has been the #1 team in the nation for the majority of the season, obviously doing a lot of things right. But what could Mike White and his Ducks improve on heading into the Super Regionals next weekend?
Well, Sarah, in my opinion, Oregon would benefit from jumping on counts early. Oregon tends to start games off slow and then get hot towards the middle or the end. If they jump early and squander their competition, they would see even more production from their offense.
Switching over to baseball, Oregon went down to Los Angeles to take on the UCLA Bruins last weekend.
The Ducks earned their first road series down at UCLA this past weekend. Oregon pitching staff had a strong performance against the Bruins. Tommy Thorpe started the first game and earned his 9th win of the season. While in Los Angeles, Jeff Gold tied Oregon career win record with his 23rd win versus the Bruins in a 4-1 victory.
How is this next weekend looking for the Ducks baseball squad?
This upcoming weekend, Coach Horton and the Ducks will take on the sub-500 California Bears for their last home series of the season. The Cal Bats are coming in hot with 14 hits in their last game, with 5 players getting 2 or more hits. Look for a strong showing from their pitching staff to close out the regular season with a win. Perhaps one of the most physically demanding sports on campus is the UO rowing team. Reporter Adam Vaughn takes a closer look into the lives of members of the Oregon rowing team.
While most students are asleep at 6 a.m., the University of Oregon crew team can be found 20 miles southeast of Eugene at Dexter Lake, perfecting their strokes in the earliest hours of sunrise.
We take a bus out there. Bus leaves at 5:15 from campus. We get to the lake about 5:45, and we're usually on the water by 6. We're actually on the water at practice for about an hour and a half. Of course, there are hard days, and you just have to pull yourself out of bed, and you imagine your teammates doing the same thing, staring at the alarm clock, saying like, I can't miss practice.
Early morning practices are just one part of the intense training schedule that makes the University of Oregon rowing team one of the hardest working sports teams on campus.
If you're doing it right, you're in pain. So it's basically a game of who can pull the hardest, who's got the most stamina, who's the strongest. So we work out for an hour a day. You've got 100, maybe 175 practices a year, and you're doing maybe 1,500 strokes a day. So if you add that up over 4 years, you're approaching 1 million strokes. So you're basically doing the same thing 1 million times over and over again, and you're doing it as hard as you can. And so if you've got a great boat where everybody's dialed in, everybody's well rested, everybody's well fed, low stress, and they want it, then it's one of the best feelings in the world.
In the sport of rowing, teamwork and trust are the backbone of a successful crew team.
All experiences, you're literally all in the same boat. I know it's a cliche, but so anything you usually experience communally, and you work through it together, and that builds your bond as a boat, and in turn helps you increase your speed as you increase your trust and pride in one another.
The team constantly stresses the importance of personal endurance when training and competing.
The key lesson of crew is endurance. As much as it's facing fear, as much as it's endurance, as much as it's intensity, more so it's endurance. If you're going to do something at U of O and you have the energy to do it, this will get you to your limit, this will get you past your limit, this will maybe get you to your limit every single day.
The team hopes their hard work will pay off when they head to nationals next week in Gainesville, Georgia, to compete against the top clubs in the country. Reporting for Duck TV Sports, I'm Adam Vaughn.
Thanks, Adam. Oregon Track and Field went up to Pullman, Washington this weekend to take part in the Pac-12 Track and Field Championships. The Ducks will be coming home with both the men and women's titles. 3 Ducks picked up their 3rd consecutive Pac-12 championships in their events. Sam Krauser in the javelin, Phyllis Francis in the 400, and Laura Raisler in the 800. Jenna Prandini set a meet and school record in the 200 and brought home titles in 3 individual events. Another notable win for the Ducks this weekend, the Oregon men's golf team finished 1 stroke behind Stanford to advance to the NCAA Championships, which will take place at Prairie Dunes Country Club in Hutchinson, Kansas this weekend.
The Ducks are certainly finding success in the postseason, Sarah. That finishes this week's Sportcast, but there's more action to come next week. How's the forecast looking for the next weekend, Ava?
Well, Garrett, this Memorial Day weekend, we are going to be lucky to have lots of sunshine all over Oregon. In Eugene, the temperatures will be in the high 70s and mostly sunny, so don't forget to put on sunscreen or a hat before heading down to the river or going to the Saturday market. In the evening, there will be just a slight dip in temperatures down to the low 50s and high 40s, with a bit of wind. If you're headed to Portland this weekend, it would be a great time for a bike ride with an average temperature of about 75, hardly any chance of rain, and feel free to put away those umbrellas and raincoats since it's the weekend and the sun is here to stay. With this rare 3-day weekend coming up, a trip to the coast would be ideal with these mild temperatures in the 60s and a high temperature of 70 on Thursday and only a 10% chance of rain. Make sure to bring a jacket though, because there will be a north wind of about 13 miles an hour. For those that are lucky enough to get out of Oregon this weekend, Shasta is going to be warm with all sunny days and temperatures up to the 90s with 0 chance of rain. Make sure to enjoy the sunshine, but be sure to stay hydrated by packing lots of water and some sunglasses. Now back to you, Rachel, at the studio.
Thanks, Ava. A Churchill High School student recently won a full ride scholarship through the Gates Millennium Scholars Program. Liliana San Pedro is one of 1,000 students who receives a full ride scholarship to the school of their choice each year. The foundation is funded by a grant from Bill and Melinda Gates. San Pedro's sister won the same award only 5 years ago and plans to attend Brown University in the fall, where she will study sociology.
Green Hill Humane Society is looking for foster parents for kids to help socialize them before adoption. Fostering can be great for college students because of the short-term commitment, usually lasting 3 weeks. You must be at least 21 to participate in the program and have approval from your landlord. Contact the foster care manager at Green Hill Humane Society for more information.
Well, here in Lane County, people aren't just fostering kittens, they're also raising guide dog puppies. Reporter Jesse Foster has the story.
This is Norris. He is one of 4 Labradors in Eugene's puppy racing group that races guide dogs for the blind. Volunteers raise the puppies for about 15 months before the dogs attend the guide dog school in Boring, Oregon. The puppy raisers focus on basic training and socialization, while the official 8-week program in Boring prepares the dogs to be partnered with someone who is visually impaired.
You're raising a puppy in your home and teaching them to become good citizens, teaching them house manners, to relieve on command, to socialize them.
The dogs are usually Labradors or Golden Retrievers and are not difficult to train. Puppy raisers bring the dogs everywhere they go because they are not allowed to be left alone. Eugene puppy raisers meet every Monday for group trainings to expose the dogs to new environments. The raisers do this so that when the dogs attend school and eventually graduate, they will be successful partners.
It's amazing to see what the dogs learn. It is just fascinating that a dog can learn some of the things that they do.
Norris is only a year old, but in the near future, he too will have a chance to become someone's best friend and guide. For Duck TV News, I'm Jessie Foster.
Thanks for joining us tonight on Duck TV Evening News. Join us in 2 weeks for our season finale. I'm Rachel Ibanez.
And I'm Hannah Vetrano. Have a great night.